Are you someone who is willing to deploy their Python application in Docker and in Kubernetes? Stay tuned till end. My name is Rishi. I am software engineering manager in SpectroCloud, which is in California, Silicon Valley. Let's deep dive into the session. Recently, I have written a wiki in Medium to deploy Python application in Docker and in Kubernetes. So I'll follow this as a reference to create a sample Python application which fetches codes from a API endpoint and print the code. And then we will create a Dockerfile to create Docker container image of this application, and then we'll deploy this as a Docker container, and we'll also deploy it in Kubernetes cluster. So let's get started. First, we'll have to create a Python file with code application. So I already have a project set up and I'll be creating new Python file inside this. I'll name this file as codes. And I'll create a requirements.txt file. Next step is to Dockerize this Python application. So for that, we'll need to create a Docker file. Let's create a new Docker file in this project. So in this Docker file, we are taking Python 3.8 as a base, and we are setting /code as a work directory. We are copying requirements.txt file, and then we are installing all the requirements, and we are copying our application file, and then we will be setting entry point for this Docker container image, and then it would be Python and then the file name. Before that, I'll first manually run this program just to make sure this program is working fine. So in my laptop, request is already installed. As you can see over here, let's run this Python application just to make sure it works fine. Yeah, so this is one of the code it has printed, and looks like this application is running. It will print next code in another minute. So let me close this application and let's create a Docker container image. To build image, we'll have to use Docker build command, and we can specify image tag using -t, and we can specify Docker build context after that. So in this case, I'm using current directory as the Docker build context because I'm already inside codes folder. So that's why I'm referring current directory with dot. As you have seen, this pip install has installed all the dependencies and it has copied our application file. Now Docker container image is already created and tagged with this name. To log in into Docker registry, we can log in using this command. And since I'm already logged in, it says login succeeded. And next step is to push this Docker image. Once this image is pushed, we can even run our application as a Docker container using Docker run command. So now I'm running it as a Docker. Now I am running this application in Docker container. So to run this application in Docker container, we have to use Docker run command and followed by interactive mode with remove files once this container is deleted, and followed by image ID. With this, you can see it has printed a code over here, and next code will be printed in another minute. So this application is running inside Docker container. If we have to deploy this application in Kubernetes, we can deploy it either as a pod or as a deployment. So let's create a manifest.yaml file with this deployment configuration. And I have given name of my application as chroot tech python codes. Image is chroot tech python codes v001, And next step is to apply this on a Kubernetes cluster. Now application is already deployed and we can also check pods. Pod is also running. Let's check log of the application. And it has printed 2 codes by now. These 2 are the code. So application is running inside Kubernetes cluster also. It's very easy to create an application and deploy in Docker and in Kubernetes. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe for more developer content. Have a good time ahead. Thank you.